Alright, this video is probably not going to be interesting to anybody but me. What it is, I've retrieved some of my childhood items that I had, like this electric train set. This trunk here has an electric train set my dad had when he was 12 years old, and this trunk has got a lot of probably junk. And in fact, I don't know exactly what's in it. I just know it's some toys that I had when I was growing up. But I haven't seen any of these items for over 30 years. They've been stored in my parents' storage shed at their place. I put that stuff there back in the 80s, and I haven't seen it since. Haven't laid eyes on it. I knew it was there, but I never went back to get it. As far as playing with the stuff, I haven't even seen the inside of these boxes since the early 80s, probably 81, 82, somewhere around that. So, and I haven't opened them. I just got them here. So I don't know what kind of shape none of the stuff's in or anything. I'm sure this box here has probably just got a bunch of dry rotted junk. Probably not in any kind of good shape. This box itself here, I don't even remember where it came from. I know it's old, and it dates from the mid-60s or older, because the way I know that, this sticker here, this is a Mayflower Moving Company sticker. And when my dad was in the Air Force, when I was growing up, that was around 1967 was the last time the government moved us. So it can't be any later than 66. Probably, I mean, it's pretty old looking, so it's got to be older than that, I'm sure. Same way with this. I guess you'd call it a small trunk or something. There's another Mayflower sticker. My dad's train set has been in this as long as I have memories of it. This train set here, I got this for Christmas, and I don't exactly know what the actual date of the year was, because I can't really remember exactly. I'm gonna guess around 1960, plus or minus 1 or 2 years. I just don't know. I'm trying to remember if I can place where we were living at the time and when I got this train. We lived in North Dakota for 3 or 4 years, so I'm thinking that's when I got it. We moved to North Dakota in around 1960 or 61. So, but I don't know if I had it before that or not. Anyways, let's open it up, see what kind of shape it's in. I haven't even wiped the dust off. Okay. Now, from what I can remember of this train set, it's a Sears. Came from Sears Allstate. It says Sears and Roebuck, and the company that made it was Marx. Track's pretty corroded looking. Here's all the trestles, because I remember it made a figure 8, and it had these trestles so it could go up and over the other piece of track. Wire. Well, there's a car that didn't come with it. Unless something I played with or something. Matchbox car or something. Alright. Here's the transformer. That cord seems to be in pretty decent shape. I figured it'd be completely dry rotted, but that ain't bad looking. May be safe to plug in. Lewis Marx and Company. Alright, this is, I know from surfing the internet, they must have had a dozen or something different versions of this. This one's 09629, because I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube, and you know, there was a wide collection of different railroad cars that it came with, some cars that I never seen. This particular set here, and this is this locomotive's made of plastic. The number on the locomotive is 1666. I don't know if that helps define the year or anything. I do remember this one would puff smoke if you drop some oil down the stack, and that flap there made the smoke puff out the top. I remember that. It seems to me there was some cotton or a wick or something down there in the chimney where the drops would soak into. Probably rotted out. Okay, you got one car here, an open car, greenish. An orange box car. Of course, a red caboose. It says Allstate on it. The coal tender says Allstate on it. Got these clips. If I remember, these clips hold the track together or something to keep it from coming apart or something. All right. That may work. when I get this thing running, just on general principles. All right, let's take a look at my my dad's set. Now, from what I understand, it's a set that he got when he was 12 years old. When he was 12 years old, that was in 1940. So this thing has got to be at least 1940 or older. Now, they didn't come in this trunk. This is just what it's always been in. Yep, just as I remember. Looks like the same Marx track. Now, I remember this. I never remember seeing a box that actually said, you know, it was a Marx train set. I don't know if it ever had a box. If it did, I never saw it. It's before my time. It's always been in this tomato box. And I know why it's in a tomato box, because my dad's mother, which was really his adopted mother, because he was adopted as a child. Okay, here's a switch. I remember that. I remember there was a couple of mechanical switches, and there was like an electric one too. Another switch, and made by Marx, because that's what it says on the bottom. And I remember this. That was also made by Marx. A clamp. I don't know how that got in there. That's not part of anything. It looks modern, so obviously that's not old. All right, let's open. Get this track out of the way. Yeah, it's always been in this tomato box that I can remember, always. Now look, there's a I don't know why that's in there, but I remember my dad putting these things on the windshield of his cars back when I was growing up. It like helped with the ice and the snow or something. It's funny, it's got one sticking there. I'm gonna have to find a way to prop this up, because I can't hold the camera and prop this up at the same time. I'm just gonna take the box out. Alright, I got the box out. His train set was all metal. All the cars are metal and very detailed. Because I remember playing with these. The box car, the doors would open and I could put stuff in there. And metal engine. Yeah. Look like something broke on there. I vaguely remember that piece being broke. There's the other side. Yeah. that piece there broke off at some point. The engine is number 397, so that may tell something also. Yeah, that piece looks like that piece right there broke or something. I guess that arm there's gone. I don't know. There's the tender, New York Central Marx. Fairly heavy. I remember playing with these. Reading Railroad. Flat car. I always liked these because they were really detailed, more so than the plastic ones. It's like a coal carrier or something. I remember you could open the bottoms. You could twist these pieces there, and the bottoms would open. Now, this ain't part of it. Sears Craftsman miter gauge extension rod. You know, I bet you that got stuck in there the last time, back in the early 80s, the last time I messed with this train set. That was just about the time I had bought Sears table saw. Just got stuck in here for whatever reason. Now see, there's no transformer. No, I don't know where the transformer went. The transformer was identical to this one. I mean, it looked identical to that one, except it was just older. But I mean, it was exactly the same, exactly. But maybe it died. Maybe it died at some point or something. Got tossed or something. I remember I had a bunch of electric switches. This was also made by the Marx Company, original box. Gives you some suggested layouts for it on the box. And here's this. Remember, this is the switch for it. Yeah, that was the control panel for it. You could run 2 switches off this control panel. You just hit those buttons to move it. I remember that. Remember, he had a bunch of switches. Those 2 manual ones. And here's this one here is another one just like it. It's just like it. And there's 2 more in here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 electrical switches, 2 manual switches, and a crisscross track. So that's all of that. As I recall, the last time I had this set out, this locomotive here wasn't working real well. Probably needs to be taken apart and cleaned and everything. I don't think that missing piece there is not going to affect the operation because it's all geared from that one side. Except that wheel's loose. That wheel's loose. Probably still would run though. Alright, let's see what's in this box. Now I don't know what we're gonna find in here. It may be, if you're seeing this video, it ain't nothing illegal. I know, like a dead body or nothing. But it's probably just a bunch of old tore up junk. But I'm curious. Let's see what's in here, if I can get this piece of rope off. Alright, let's see what we got. Alright. Well, I remember this. Let's see, what's our first item here? A plastic banjo with 3 strings. Okay. A plastic water jug that says industrial safety belt. So I must have had some play construction stuff or something. I remember with that Johnny 7 one-man army gun. I remember when I got that for Christmas. Now this is really old here. A Paladin set. Paladin holster set. I remember that. Now that's pretty old because I remember getting that when I was probably 6 or 7 years old. So that has to be from the 50s. Of course, like I said, a bunch of tore up junk. Handles are missing. Leather feels sort of dry rotted. Well, if it's leather, I think it is. I think that's actual leather. Okay, another part of that industrial stuff. Baseball. Pretty rotted. Let's see, what's this? A bazooka. Now, I remember this. That is a shoulder holster for a Dick Tracy gun. Of course, it's got no gun, but I remember that. Dick Tracy, and it would shoot some plastic bullets. It was really lifelike. It had the bullets were like 2 parts. The case looked it looked sort of like a bullet. The bullet was a gray plastic bullet, and the case was spring loaded, and you pushed the bullet into the cartridge case, and it was like spring loaded, and then you could it was a Dick Tracy snub nose 38 or something, and you would shoot it, and those plastic bullets would come out the end. I remember that. It goes with that canteen. had some sort of a, I vaguely remember that. It's a flying helmet, hat, whatever you call it. Army Air Forces. So now my dad was in the Air Force, but he didn't fly. And in fact, it was still called the Army Air Corps whenever he enlisted. That was back around the late 40s, you know, like around 49 or something. It could have came from an Army surplus store or something. I remember this, Johnny 7 one-man army. That should lock onto the back, because I can't do anything one-handed while I'm holding the camera. That pistol there comes out. It had like a plastic grenade, could launch off of that. Tripod, or bipod I mean. That had some sort of a missile that you could put in. It would shoot some white plastic bullets out of that tube there. Could make some machine gun noises. That must release, yeah, that releases. That's a cap gun. Put the caps in there. Oh, there's one of the missiles. That probably went in there. Yeah. Let's see, how did you shoot it? Oh, there we go. All right. There's the other Paladin gun. That was also a cap gun. I remember that Paladin set. Even got some calling cards that said "Have gun, will travel" on it. I remember that. Probably had some bullets or something you could put in there. Let's see, that mask, I remember that mask's for swimming. That ball there, I don't know anything about that. I remember that. Mickey Mouse puppet, I remember that. I remember it used to squeak or something, had a squeaker in it. It's a hand puppet. I remember you could do something and make them squeak. Pair of skates. Remember these skates? They were the kind that you bolt onto your shoes. And it had a key. Had a key for that piece right there would grab around your shoe. I don't know what that is. It's a piece of a belt or... Oh, yeah, that's that other side of that strap. Boy, that's just crumbling. That's dry rotted. Just crumbling in my fingers. Now that, I had that when we lived in North Dakota, so that would be around 64 or so. I remember skating we had sidewalks all along our street on base. Grand Forks, North Dakota. Let's see. There's another holster for something. It says Air Force on it. It's another missile for the Johnny 7. That got to be a holder for a football. I remember that. I used to have marbles in that. nothing in it now. A plastic shrunken head. I remember that. I don't know where I got it, but I remember it. I don't know what that's off of, something or other. Well, I remember this thing's wedged in there. I remember this periscope. I remember that. I had forgotten all about that. That's another Marx toy. Yeah, I remember that. You could look from side to side because there's a mirror from side to side, or you could look out the top. Either, yeah, look out the top. I don't. Seems like that thing swivels. Oh yeah, it swivels. It swivels like that so you can look out the top, and then you can swivel it that way to look from side to side. Yeah, I remember that. See if it still works. See if I can look through here. Yeah, it still works. All kind of plastic balls. That must be from some sort of bowling thing or something. Okay, what's this? Oh yeah, I remember this thing. Charlie Weaver, the bartender. Yeah, I remember this. That thing was it was battery operated. He put batteries in it, and he'd sit there and shake a jigger thing that with some liquor in it, and then he'd drink it, and then his cheeks would puff in and out, making a smacking noise, and his face would turn red. Yeah, yeah. See, he'd shake that thing, pour it in a glass, and put the glass to his mouth, and then his face would turn red. I remember that. See if I can open it up. Probably not politically correct nowadays. Giving a kid something or other about drinking liquor. Oh, there's something else in here. I remember that. That's it's a dog. I remember that's been like that a really long time, because I even remember the chunk coming off the foot there. It had a little picnic basket. Uh-oh. Feels heavy. I bet there's some corroded dead batteries in here. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're not stuck to anything. Yeah, it's not any damage. I'll throw them in the garbage. Okay, here's Charlie. Uh-oh, it looked like batteries leaked and corroded all over his face or something. Let's see if I can even get him out. It's kind of like stuck. Yeah. There's the glass. It's broke off. That would have went right there. And he'd shake that thing, and then go like that, and then his cheeks was going. Face would turn red and flash red. Oh yeah, smoke would come out of his ears, because there's a little spout there for the smoke to come out. Yeah, smoke would also come out of his ears. I don't know how you revitalize smoke. I don't even know how. Maybe he had to drip something in his mouth or something. I don't remember. Alright, let's see what else we got. Alright, I remember these red plastic bricks. Well, here's one of the bullets for the Johnny 7. This white bullets. I remember. I see 2 of them for that. Oh, marbles. These are marbles. Marbles in a stamp bag. Yeah, those are the marbles. This was my very first skateboard. First skateboard I ever had. And you can see the ends chewed up there. The reason it's chewed up is because I used to, it was real windy in North Dakota, and I cut up a sheet and made a sail and made it kind of triangle shape, nailed the front of the sheet to the skateboard, and then you pick up the sheet while you were on there, and then the wind would really, you know, you could really sail down the sidewalks. We had, the whole neighborhood had sidewalks, and I mean, you could get to flying. In fact, you get to flying so fast you had to have a friend to catch you at the end of the sidewalk so you didn't kill yourself. Yeah, red bricks, remember that. This is like what do you call the Swedish things? No, I can't remember. But anyways, that's sort of like first versions of, so these are like hard brittle plastic bricks you can make as a door, or I mean a window or a door or something. You can make a house like that on the front. Legos. No, Legos? Is that what I'm trying to say? Legos? Sort of like the first Legos. And here's an erector set. Now I had several erector sets. I know I had this set, this round set. This was my first set. And I had 2 other sets that came in suitcase-shaped metal boxes, and they had like some electric motors and junk where you could make elevators and crap. I don't know where they went. So this is the only surviving erector set, the first one. That's part of the erector set, a pulley. Alright, so there you have it. A bit of nostalgia. Doesn't really mean anything to anybody except for me. So thanks for watching.